This is your host, Stephen Sargeant, hot off the press episode with Nik Denisenko. He's the CTO and co-founder of the Brighty app. This is where crypto becomes seamless. We talk about the early days of his work at Revolut Business and how he built out that unit. We talk a lot about crypto usage by users. He's giving us amounts of, monthly spend by crypto users. We talk about a lot about his crypto-backed app and the crypto-backed credit cards that they're using all around the world. And obviously, this is a compliance-focused person right here. So we're going to talk a little bit about regulation and compliance. This is a great app with Nik. Brighty app is pretty cool, so you might want to check out this episode. This is your host, Stephen Sargeant, Around the Coin podcast. Crypto is all the hype. We have Nik, the CTO and founder or co-founder of Brighty, the app that allows you to move crypto around, jump in and jump out of crypto pretty easily. Nik, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to go jump into your background, how you got here, and we're going to talk about the market, because the market is up and down. It feels like a roller coaster sometimes. We even discussed before recording how you have to make sure everything's working, every day. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Nice to be here. Well, I'm a Nik. I'm co-founder and CTO, like Stefan said, Brighty. Brighty is a hybrid neo-digital bank that allows customers to move the crypto and fiat very easily. In one place, in one UI, in one application. I'm doing that for the last 4 years. I'm a little bit CTO also, not just a co-founder. So I'm a tech person involved in technical solution and decisions every day, wearing a lot of hats, because when you're a co-founder, you need to be everywhere. So you should understand not just how it technically works, but how it works in reality, how it works in the real world with all these compliance, legal, finance, banks. And that part is just a small, very challenging, very interesting part of the fintech, very important one, but there are many others that you should care about.
How did you balance? I know a lot of founders, usually you see a co-founder, you have the really technical person, and then you have either the operations person, that's the other co-founder, or someone that's really great at marketing and growth. How did you balance hey, we're going to start this together, what skills you had versus the other co-founder or founders?
Right. Yeah. Again, so it depends on the time and the period of the company, what's more needed. I started as a tech co-founder, so I was building the Brighty myself. So I was doing commits in the code, building the infrastructure, building the application logic itself. At the time that the core system were built, I did understand that another interesting and very important part is the compliance. I was involved in we'll say the polishing the compliance and legal processes. Then so we need to improve a little bit in the finance part, on how we moving hedging money. I moved there, improve the process. So I'm trying to jump to where is the most, I would say, important place right now, and trying to improve the whole processes of the company itself. So that's how I balance. So I implement something, show how this works, gave it to my employees, my team. Okay, so I show them you should do it's like this way, just to continue, and jumping to another place when I can improve a lot of it's just how it's just my system, Brighty, how Brighty works. Actually, I learned a lot how to build that in Revolut. What was my first experience in fintech startup. I have been there for 4 years. With that background, again, so I learned how to build the good fintech in the international team. Jumping around the departments, because in Revolut, I was a part of a product team, not just a developer team. So I was involved in the improving all the processes around the Revolut for business, and that showed me what's really important, in the fintech.
Were you already in crypto? Because you got into Revolut around 2016. Revolut, as many people know, huge fintech. Were you already into crypto at this point, or was Revolut even discussing crypto during your tenure there?
Yes, I was kind of looking around the crypto. I was looking on that trend, and Revolut was also kind of like in a trend. So they introduced crypto when it starts a little bit like jumping from the ground. The management team decided, okay, let's put crypto as a trading. So and they introduced the crypto trading, and that was very good decision. And this showed me the trend of how the finance can grow like using this in new reality. So and that was the first kind of like sign that I should build something around the crypto. Because again, the Revolut was just a fintech. It has great UI. When they add a crypto, the numbers starts booming.
I love it. Now you start Brighty in 2020, October 2020, and then we get hit by DeFi summer 2021, NFTs, metaverse. So you
Right.
look like a genius, obviously. Like you started a crypto platform. What were you trying to solve for, though? You saw Revolut. There's hundreds of players in this space, off and on ramp and off ramp, cryptocurrency or have an app. What was the one thing that you were working on at Revolut or on your own? You're like, hey, this is one problem that really nobody's focusing on, or nobody's, this is not their core feature. What was that one thing that had you be like, I have to build this, to scratch my own itch?
Yeah, I have an answer for that again. So, and that was what you have started talking about is the DeFi boom. At
Yeah.
that moment, I would say like crypto enthusiasts, they start understanding that the crypto on the crypto you can also earn just providing a liquidity that you own, and that's was not very simple. I would say like I was a part of the early kind of like users of that. It was hard. I would say like my mom would never. I mean, can do that yourself, like understanding all these blockchain fees, like on how you should interact with the smart contracts on all these like wallets. So that's was created just for crypto users. And the idea of the Brighty was to build a hybrid platform when you still get access to these DeFi protocols with their utility. So they giving you some percentage of revenue that they earn from the customers, from other customers who utilize them, with very easy way, like in one application. So where you can also top up with the euro, like or USD, any fiat currency, exchange this to stablecoin, put it in DeFi with one button without any complexity. And that was the first idea and why we started Brighty, because we would like to deliver this very good implementation of a crypto to everyone, and in one click and one button.
Right. How do you balance that though? Like you want to make it easy to use so your mother can use it, but the blockchain is also immutable. You can't reverse transactions. So how do you make this seamless app, but also realizing you have to put some safeguards in place so that someone doesn't send to a wrong address or, add an extra zero by mistake before sending the funds and they can't reverse the transaction? How do you kind of balance that within that user interface?
Yes, and that's our main purpose, like just to make everything as simpler, as secure, as transparent for a customer in a Brighty. Because on the other hand, they just can use these complex, I mean, Web3 wallets to protect customers from bad, I would say, like bad addresses that exist in the blockchain. We're using this special, let's say, transaction and the blockchain analysis tools. So like when our customers using Brighty, the Brighty will say them, okay, so this address might be like not the one that you would like to use because it's
Right.
connected to like some fraud or to some, I mean, hack, or it's connected to sanctions. So you shouldn't interact with that. So on the Brighty, always try alert the customers to not them allow to do the things that they don't want to do. And how we do that, we just, I mean, polishing the tools that already exist in the infrastructure, putting them all together in one app, and just providing the user like simple, friendly communications on what they are doing. Again, so another complexity is all these blockchain networks around. For example, when you're using stable coins, like there is like different networks that you can
Right.
instantly use the wrong one. We also kind of like trying to s- learn educate the customers to understand a little bit more the difference between them, like highlighting each step so it's clear and I mean understandable for customers.
Makes
And
sense.
this is our primary goal again, to just make the crypto easy and understandable for everyone.
When you talk about illicit activity, what are you seeing? Like, we all know whether you're a bank or crypto on and off ramp or not, there's always going to be illicit activity. What are some of the things that you're seeing within your systems? What are some of the alerts? Is it, pig butchering that you're seeing, victims of, using the app and sending the funds to transactional crime? Is it like, oh, little things, they're using it to purchase stuff from darknet markets? What are some of the illicit activity that you've seen on the platform, or that maybe you stopped because you have access to these blockchain analytics tools?
Are I would say like we are not allowing any interaction with the bad addresses for a
Right.
customer, and we explaining why, because it might be like affect their account like in the wrong way. So they can even they check the address they want to send before and then decide like whatever like they will interact with this address, but outside of Brighty, because Brighty will not allow that.
Right. I see.
But we kind of like explaining why we're not just blocking or like stopping the transaction. We explaining why this happens. I cannot emphasize the specific, I mean, the specific category of the transactions, but by stopping, but we checking all the illicit activity again. So we clearly understand when the customer sends money to another exchange, because again, some regulation activity we should understand about the travel rules, like exchange a little bit information with other exchanges. We clearly understand when customer interact with some sanctions, not allowing that at all. We understand that when customer, for example, interacts with a gambling or betting, also like giving them a little bit information on that activity. So we're trying to educate the customers, so and to protect them from themselves, I would say.
Right. How does, you mentioned travel rule, Mika's huge in Europe. How does the new Mika regulations, especially when you have such a beautiful UX, how does that now impact your business model now that you have to capture information about the destination wallet? Is it just more onerous from a compliance perspective? Does it make that customer interaction add a little bit more friction to that because you're asking for more information? Or is it easier because once you have that information, it's easy for you to make a quick transaction now for a lot of these customers? How does Mika impact you?
I would say, like my opinion, like for crypto, by the end of the day, the regulation is good because it's moving us to the mass adoption of crypto. So when it's understandable, when there is known rules how to deal with crypto, customers feel a little bit more safe utilizing the crypto for everyday life. So that's why I would say like overall Mika rules and the compliance, I mean regulation in Europe, giving us more access to, I mean the access to more people who utilizing the crypto. The it's- but again, so like you said, this comes with some cost. So
Right.
and for example, this travel rule that we have been talking about, when you need to collect some data about the recipient of the data. We played around that and built around that a cool feature. So we named that. Okay, so let's build an address wallet. So when you send someone, we're just asking information. Okay, give us a little bit of information about that. We will save this data and show next time you like as a fast recipient, and you understand like to whom you said that. You can like sort this out, so it's kind of like an address of your beneficiaries that you're sending. So it's we use that just for a little bit UX improvement, and it provided the customer in such way. So
Right. So if they do it once, then you kind of like have that information populated the next time. They can just select the address. You already have the information for that specific address. And that way it's a lot more smooth process for them.
right, that's correct. Yeah.
Awesome. You're based in Zug. I think it's pronounced Zug. I've never actually really said the word, but you're in Switzerland. Switzerland's been known for being like the crypto valley. I haven't heard too much about it, the crypto valley recently. You've been in the space, since 2020. Talk to me about the crypto valley. Is it still a thriving community? Have you seen it change over the last 5 years? What are your thoughts on the crypto valley and, just operating your business out of Switzerland?
Right. So in terms of the Switzerland, I would talk a little bit more about the community around that, because
Right.
again, so it's very crypto friendly. and it's kind of like everybody's interesting like in building a crypto products there, especially the DeFi's around that. So and we utilizing that part as kind of like trying to be alongside with all these communities, not just I mean Switzerland's based, but overall the crypto ones. I personally kind of like part of the several customer group that where they just share the feedback about the different crypto applications, the DeFi protocols that they using. I would say that just not a Switzerland specific. It's a crypto community is a global one, so it doesn't matter when you where you locate it. So it's about the globalization and the crypto adoption. And I do really see the I mean how's it the growing maturity of these communities. So it's becoming more kind of like clear what value you can get from crypto right now than it was. I mean, 3 or 4 years before.
Right. That's amazing. Where do you service? Like, who are your customers? Are they based in the EU? Are you servicing other customers outside the EU? What's your core group of customers?
The core group again. So as we are Switzerland and Lithuania regulated company, in Lithuania we do hold a WASP right now, and we are upgrading that to CASP in regarding the MiCA license. We are serving the residents of European Union. We cannot like emphasize any specific country. We're really making improvements for all of them. So we translate it, we localize applications. So every text is localized. So we paying a lot of attention like on into details to adopt the application to each country. Beside that, the card itself, the product itself, working everywhere. So you can use Brighty card to pay in Bali or like in Mexico. But
Right.
you should be like a resident of European Union. That's the one requirement.
What do you see any trends, especially recently with the MiCA requirements rolling out? Is there any jurisdictions are all of a sudden maybe using your app more or sending funds to a certain jurisdiction because maybe that region has opened up now to crypto usage because of these MiCA regulations?
I would say like MiCA regulation is very mature one. So and Europe itself, like in terms of like using a crypto as a payment instrument is somewhere at the top of the countries who kind of like dealing with the crypto. And looking on that, yeah, we definitely see the trends like these coming to the other regions, and that was also like a part of the strategy of Brighty going for expansion. And as for now, we also like choosing the region where we can expand with our knowledge, because again, we learned a lot like on how to build the crypto fintech startup in the kind of like mature environment. We understand how it will be evolved like in other regions. So the very interesting for us is like Latam and also MENA region in Indonesia. As for now, I cannot say exactly where we'll be launching Brighty, but it will be kind of like one of these regions, I would say.
You mentioned the Brighty card. Now, like that's pretty cool. Like being able to spend your crypto. Do people actually spend? Like, do you notice that the crypto, when you can spend it in like a credit card form, it's being utilized a lot more than when people have it on just an exchange?
Yes, and that's one of the like differentiating point like in the Brighty, because not all our competitors, I would say like less of them can give this opportunity. So in a Brighty, you don't need to exchange and pre-fund the card before spending that. So how it works, you just send money like in a stable coin, so like in the Bitcoin or the Ethereum, and link a card to that and go and spend. So and in the background magic happens. How we do that? It's not so easy. I would say like
No, you got to
how
deal with FX. You got to deal with exchange, or like you got to deal with like the balancing act, the balance sheet, and then you're doing all the tax and accounting requirements. I'm assuming on the back end for your customers as well. So it must be a heavy lift.
right. And about the taxes, I would say like it's up to the customer, like whether
Right.
they would like to share this information But beside that fact, I would say like, yeah, the hedging, exchanging, moving the funds from crypto to the special account where the Visa can take this money. Yeah, it's our, let's say, like, know-how. So this is what we are doing and providing to the customers, the service itself.
You talked about competitors and not having this card feature a lot of the times. What are the other things with so many opportunities to try different services? What is the one thing that you're like, oh, our customers are coming here because of this? And that's the number one. There's probably a lot of reasons, but that's the number one reason why they're coming here. Like a lot of the reason why a lot of people engage with Binance is because they had access to so many different coins, tokens, and pairs.
Right.
That was one of their selling points early on. Asian-based exchanges in general, that was one of their selling points. What do you think is that one selling point where customers keep on coming back to Brighty?
Yeah, and I'm getting this response from customer. What I would say, what they're saying that Brighty card is just works. So it's very short, but it's defining us and from other competitors. Because, for example, they can trust on that they will go to the market, use our card, and everything works. So the payment will be like accepted, the money will be like exchanged, nothing, no hidden fees, no any. I mean, complaints on that the card transaction will not pass. We have Apple Pay, we have Google Pay. I mean, that simplifies the card usage. And again, yeah, the most defining feedback from a customer is like, Brighty card is just works.
It just works. I think when, in the world of just like, it does what it say it's going to do, we don't see a lot of that, right? People make a lot of promises. Companies say how easy it is. And then you go and use it. You're like, well, I'm still here waiting. The transaction didn't go through. So I think to your point, just making sure it actually works when the customer wants it to work, not just in general, when the customer actually needs it to work and that's their source of income that they're using. Do you talk to me about some of the customer usage? Because you have some interesting stats about customer usage, what stable coins are using. Give us some of those interesting stats. So there's a lot of people listening to this podcast in payment tech, or they're just entrepreneurs in crypto. Give us some of that usage stats that you're seeing on the back end of Brighty.
Absolutely. I'm happy to share that. So in terms of like what we have noticed, the Brighty itself, like you said, so there is a Binance, a Kraken, the exchanges that give access to the full amount of these crypto coins. The Brighty itself, like trying to solve another issue, not just providing all the access to, I mean, these whole meme coins. We have few, but this is not the most important feature. The Brighty is a hybrid finance application with access to fiat and crypto money. And in such way, we're sorting out the problem for the grants, for crypto earners, the corporate customers, the retail customers who deal with the crypto as a remittance instruments. So that means that they need that for any payouts or pay-ins, or just using them as a collateral on the card payments. And I would like to talk a little bit more about the crypto earners that's really getting a lot of kind of like value from the Brighty, because for them it's very easy to accept like their salary in the stable coins. It's mostly that. We talked to some of them. Let's say the statistic like that. So like on average, the crypto earners or like freelancer who are using Brighty earns about like 3,500 per month. It's coming in USDT. I would say that's not the kind of like a random thing, because most of our customers utilizing stable coins. Most percentage is like USDT is about 85 USDT utilization, comparing to like 5% of USDC. I would say like that might change a little bit because of the Mika. But in terms of like stable coins to cryptocurrency, I would not say that it will change a lot. So about 5 other persons using BTC and everything else like other cryptocurrencies. So in terms of their behavior, they usually spend that for luxury, travel. And the third interesting point, we noticed that a lot of our customers using the withdrawal mechanics for using Brighty card to Revolut or to other financial institutions. What they do, they top up with crypto like stable coins, USDC, link a card to that and do the top up there. I mean, main bank or financial institution with Apple Pay and Google Pay. So in that case, they kind of like moving money from crypto to fiat world with just one click on Apple Pay. And I think it's a good feature itself.
That's awesome. So like if I'm using my, Starbucks app and I need to top up money, that's basically them topping up their crypto or topping up their fiat using their crypto.
Yes, and that's a really cool feature. So in terms of like how they spend this money again, so these crypto earners, usually about like 40% to 60%. So this 40% is spent, like 60% they put somewhere like to the walls that we have. Walls is kind of like wrapped DeFi's that I have been talking about like previously.
And how much is like an average person either earning, spending? Do you have any amounts that people are regularly utilizing? Like, are we talking about people are spending $20,000 a month in crypto or a year in crypto? Or is this like micro payments where they're spending maybe $3,500 or $1,500 a month and they're using their crypto?
If we are saying about the I mean, very lovely group of the crypto earners, so they're spending about like 1,500 like to 2,000 on average. Again, so if this is just, I mean, every day use, not everyday use, I would say, like it's just normal customer without any earnings in the crypto, it's about like 2 to 300, not more. We have few customers that are high wealth individuals. They're spending much more. So these customers just earns on a trading or like on a BTC growth, and they need a product where they can again use their crypto that they have earned, and they using Brighty. One reason for that, I think, like I know them personality, so I have some trust with them.
But I would those are the ones you're trying to get to know personally, the ones that are behind net worth.
Right. And I'm trying to kind of like expand this idea that the high net worth individuals also can use a Brighty. It's very safe. So we are regulated, compliant, and our coverage works. Yeah, but we don't have so much, I mean, these customers as for now. So mostly it's like some migrants, some crypto earners, some customers who are just checking how crypto can improve their life, let's say like that.
Talk to me, because you also have like you mentioned business and corporations. What is the use case for them? Are they paying out, employees? Are they receiving crypto as part of, their services or products that they're selling? How are the businesses within the Brighty app using the app?
Let's say like two main use cases. One use case is when the corporates, they aggregate the fiat money, like for example, euro. So they have some acquiring platforms where they aggregate money from their customers who paying by cards, whatever, or like sending money. So they aggregate this in the euro, then they send this euro to Brighty platform, and they need to do the payouts either by the invoices or to their contractors or to dividends. They exchange this euro to stable coins and do the payouts. This is one use case. Another use case is when the corporates already have some USDT and they need to pay their contractors in the Europe or like their agencies in the Europe. And for that, they can also use Brighty, and they're using that Brighty. So they top up with the stable coins and do payouts in the euro. And that's the major use cases. I would say, like, if you have some connection in Europe, you need these fiat rails. Brighty can help you. If you have a business in Europe and you need to do like global remittance, Brighty also can help you. Like, well, you just need to distribute the dividends. So, and the easiest way is just to send it in euro, exchange the USDT, and send it out.
I think one of the most challenging things, I think obviously Revolut is, you said, one of the main, connectors or counterparties for a lot of these transactions. How hard is it for crypto companies like yourself to obtain and maintain good banking relationships? Or is in Europe, are they a little bit more free to the idea? I know they have a lot of e-money licenses. So these banks are a little bit used to dealing with fintechs, challenger, neobanks, crypto companies. How hard is it? Is it still hard to maintain a bank account? Or is it a little bit, there's a lot more options than there are in places like Canada, where we have like 5 or 6 major banks, and it's a little bit challenging to keep that, crypto-based account?
It's for sure challenging. by experience, not just by theoretically, because we, through the life of the Brighty, I would say like the most difficult part is this fiat part. So I would say like crypto hedging, even card transactions is not so difficult as this fiat last mile when you need to deliver or accept fiat, because you need to find reliable partners in reliable banks that also do a little bit understand how crypto works. So, and this is really challenging to find those. In a Brighty, we tried 3 to 4, I think. So we are 4 now. Yeah, we changed about four banks who has been working with us on the fiat part, and that's including because they, when we start kind of like our relationship, they saying that they can deliver. Then at some point we do understand that they don't even understand how crypto works, how the compliance works, how the screening of transaction works. And when you're talking to someone who doesn't understand how this works, you cannot even, I mean, explain. So when you're talking with the guy who doesn't understand the theme, I mean, it doesn't matter what you say for him. So I would say like it's still complicated part. It's becoming much more easier because of the Mika, because Mika putting some defining the rules
Right.
and defining the stage where everybody is playing. So and when the rules are defined, it's much more easy to explain your opponent about the what's happening here. So I'd say.
And I feel a lot more of these banks are actually getting into digital assets and cryptos themselves. So they understand a little bit more than I think in 2020, where it was very new to them. They just didn't want to touch it. Now they're figuring out how they can monetize off of this new asset class. I'm curious, in North America here, everyone makes the joke that the banks are the de facto regulators, right? Doesn't matter if the regulators' requirements are here and the bank requirements are up here. The bank requirements is what you have to, adapt to in order to keep your bank account and operate anyway. Is that very similar in the EU, or are the banks and the regulator requirements very on par, do you feel?
I think they're almost there. So I would not say that this something very strict in terms of like banks itself and not covering by regulations. Again, so I would say like it's more adjusted in that case.
Where the banks and the regulators are pretty much aligned, and the banks aren't putting more requirements than the regulators are. Well, that's very interesting. That's
Yes.
awesome. Obviously, we just, saw the news about Tether freezing 27 million associated with Guarantex. But we also saw the news recently, 1.4 billion, a historic number stolen from Bybit exchange. We all know centralized exchanges are a honeypot for hackers. Like when you see that news of a massive hack and sophisticated attacks on employees and, phishing attacks, what are your thoughts on that? Coming from a technical background and trying to secure customer funds, what are your initial thoughts when you see something like that hit the newsstands?
First of all, I was really disappointed to see that. I mean, the hack. I'm personally very, very in love with Ethereum and hoping that Ethereum, I mean, will recover. Coming back to your question, yeah, the transparency, security is really the first priority for Brighty, and how we protecting our customers is just utilizing the best either built-in in-house solution or like the third-party solution that we really trust. For example, for custody, we utilizing the Fireblocks. I think it's number one MPC technology that exists in the market. So I mean, we haven't tried to build something, I mean, on our own because it's really difficult, and these guys do have the experience. And yeah, every decision, I mean, in terms of like how we can improve the security, we considering like several partners who are best in this area, understanding the pros and cons, and then go with them again. So there is no any one kind of like one point how you can protect from that.
Right.
It's a number of rules, and we improving every week, like in terms of like security, how we it's either done with the policies or like restricting accesses. I would say like the Brighty back office is not accessible like through the internet at all. The It's not possible to do something like that in the Bybit, because I know the hackers they do kind of like social engineering, get access
Right.
to the developer environment, understand how this works, engineer it a little bit. So I would say like it's not possible like in a Brighty like that, because no engineers do have the access to the prod environment at
Right.
all. uh, that's restricted. We really cares on how we do the interviews. Also, like we I would say we're trying to do the a little bit background check also on to whom we are talking about.
That's where maybe the industry's dropped the ball a little. There's been authorities in the US, there's been several reports that unknowingly a lot of these crypto companies are hiring North Korean actors and they're giving them access directly to their code. They're helping them build the code, and then they're not rushing. They just sit there for months and months and months until they're ready to attack. What are your thoughts on that? Are we, trying to hire? Is it so hard to hire that we're hiring anyone with expertise and not doing enough background checks? Or is this like this is the risk of, non face to face remote style working that the crypto industry is used to?
I would say like it's a remote work effect, because again, so even you don't interview this guy itself. For example, you have interview with myself. Okay, so we did that. You did a background check, everything good. But who says that I would be like working on this project? So this Korean hacker can work instead of me. So I just give him access, for example. So in that case, the not doing just a background check, a little bit more. mm, KYC check, or like interviewing the face to face wouldn't help the sort out this issue. Uh, in DeFi, I would say we are less affected on that, because again, so the code is visible for everyone. So this
Right.
is a community who kind of like doing their checks on the legibility of that or those checks. Changes like in the code. In the centralized world, yeah, things becoming a little bit more difficult. But again, so like while you are not growing too fast, growing step by step, understanding who you're working with, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
Talk to me. You're a co-founder, entrepreneur to entrepreneur. How difficult was it to make those first couple hires? Those are key hires when you're building something like a cryptocurrency exchange for the masses. How did you figure out who do you want to hire? What were some missteps you made early on? Hiring a friend that didn't really know much, but they're a friend. Give us some entrepreneurial takes about your hiring early on in Brighty.
Not say don't have a lot of experience in that. Why? Because again, so I was kind of like ex Revoluter, and we had a very good community. So like sometimes like this community like named like Revolut Mafia, we had like very great people around who have been working on Revolut, and for me it was pretty easy to hire to do the first hire, because okay, so I already worked with some of these guys.
Right.
They were not already part of Revolut. I just know, okay, so when I will be going to build my startup, I will be working with this, that, and that guy. So and that happened. So we just talk all together. I explained the whole idea. They like it. They like they believe the idea itself. They believe myself, and we started building everything. So the first hire was just a tech team. So because we were building a platform, the core platform, and then adding a little bit more product features. But again, the
Right.
first hires was pretty easy because of my later experience.
I think that everyone has either ex PayPal, ex Google. You kind of have a core group of people that are working, not working, or like contractors that are coming in and out, where you can kind of assess their skill set. You don't have to guess as much at that point. Talk to me about, we're going into Q2. Talk to me about what's going on, what's exciting about Brighty for 2025. Any features, any announcements that you want to like slowly whisper into our ears as we as you get ready to launch, or even just new partnerships that you're excited about.
Right. I would say like I'm really happy that we finally released the zero QIC access in the Brighty. So that means that we were building that I think for month, maybe like month and a half. So this feature was released recently, when the customers can get access to the Brighty just without providing any information. So we showing the whole part of the features. We showing our commissions, how this works, giving a little bit explanation on what is Brighty. And after that, only after that, we started getting the request. Okay, so now if you want to use Brighty, go through the KYC. And that's really improved our, feedback from the customers. So we are not forcing them to give us any details about themselves before they check application. In terms of our next steps plan, so we are really working on improving our referral program, because right now it's easy to hack, I would say, like a lot of bad actors utilizing our referral program. Like
just sending it back and forth to each other and getting some free stuff.
Yes, I have one story about that. Yeah, we really need to improve the referral program, because we love all the customers, even those that who trying to little bit, trick us. We love them also, but we would like to be valuable for the customers. So
we like to love them less. The people gaming the system, we like to love them less.
So I would say, like, give them a little bit less possibility to trick us. And that's why we're working on this referral program. And another very big story that I'm very proud to work on is a corporate expense management cards in a crypto. I would say that this will hack the system and will improve everything, like in terms of like product line, on how we sell our product, to whom we can sell our products. I found really very interest, like from the different companies like travel agencies or like concierge services, who would like to provide their customers ability to utilize the crypto cards. And we are working on that product, and I do think that it will help Brighty a lot, and like in terms of like crypto mass adoption and the product line itself.
Explain that a little. Is that more of like a corporate card that any employee can use for the corporation, or is that more of like a luxury card like that maybe brands are now associating themselves with, and they can offer this crypto app card?
Right. Yeah, that's the second part. So it's where the brands or like any companies, they can distribute that among their, customers, like, or employees, and they can, use this crypto connected card for, for payments. So that's the whole idea. So in that case, we get a distribution of our cards is in a little bit different way.
I like that. Go back to the no KYC. You're talking to a crypto investigator by nature. So go back to this no KYC. Are you doing no KYC, or you just don't have to do KYC once you get on the platform? And then once you start transacting is when you would put in the information. So you can get them onboarded and ready to go. But once they start transacting, then they have to kind of fill out the information that they need.
Right. We cannot offer financial services with no KYC, but what we can do, we can explain a little bit about the full functionality of a Brighty before asking any documents. Because in that case, the customer do understand a little bit more on about what he or she can get from Brighty. It's like crypto card, earning walls, the fiat accounts, the crypto accounts, the exchange rates, how much it costs, how much card you can issue, how much you pay, and this is before you getting access to the platform. So we giving the full maximum information, explaining what is Brighty is, and only after that. So if you would like to stay with us, okay, so next step is this complex KYC part. You should be doing that, but you will get all this functionality.
I think that makes sense, right? Getting people to understand a little bit about what they do. I think a lot of people just want information. When they're getting into crypto, they just want as much information. And if they're not getting that information until they, send in pictures of their passport and all the other KYC, it's less likely for them to want to engage with the platform, to your point. I think that really does add to the customer experience. Well, you're a tech person. As we're ending this conversation, what are the gadgets you and your tech friends are playing with on the weekends? Is it like Nero stuff? Is it like, ayahuasca, going, into the mountains and trying mushrooms for like, what is the stuff that you're like super tech people are playing with? AI agents. Tell us about what are we going to be seeing within the next few years that you guys are already playing with.
Okay, so actually it's depending like whether my wife is with me or somewhere else, right? So if she is me, I'm just doing hiking, some sports. So we're going out just to relax, kind of like a little bit think in some other stuff, not just fintech programming, and that also helps. Once she's out, I usually do the either trading or creating some trading bots around the AI and AI agents. I'm trying to learn as much as possible in all I mean, in this crypto evolving world. I would say like last month I was trying to understand what's happening there, like in MML, all these pump funds and all these stars, all these strange things around Solana. Yeah, that's also part of our world. It's someone doesn't like us, someone do like. I'm just trying to be aware of what's happening around.
Right. It's like the way I look at like gambling and porn. Like so many people say like, oh my God, this stuff, but it's also like the biggest businesses in the world. So there's obviously a demand for it. People just don't like to say that they're involved in it. Right. What are you seeing? Are you using any AI within, Brighty, whether that's a chatbot for your customers, or are you using AI to help build code in the back end? Where are you seeing AI in the blockchain convergence?
I would say like we're using AI everywhere. So like the developers, myself also like using Cursor and AI tools for mostly for coding tests. I would say like it's really improving the how we're doing the unit functional tests. So writing code is not so cool, but writing tests is pretty cool. For customer support, yeah, we had a trained AI bot that's also like communicated to customers, trying to sort out their issues before connected to the real person. And about the products in the Brighty, we also have AI product, AI crafted product. I will say, like beside the DeFi strategies where the customer can earn on like in liquidity pools, like that's also put in the Brighty. We have these AI generated portfolios based on different thematics. So like in Brighty also you have access, for example, to stock portfolio that's chosen by AI in the thematic security, so in thematic of the IT or in thematic of consumer goods. So we have like about 10 different thematics. The stocks in these thematics are chosen by AI. It's trained on the very huge amount of the data, so it's analyzing every day and doing the rebalancing of these stocks inside this portfolio every day and doing the backtrack rebalancing every week. So like we're getting the fresh choose stocks every week. So then this rebalancing happened very smooth for our customers. So we're trying to be on a trend here. Right
Any
now,
big winners out of those? Is there anything that you're like, oh, this one's absolutely crushing it, and more people need to like take a look at this?
we're trying to put this in kind of like in the Brighty product line. I would say like we haven't did enough marketing just to sell
Yeah.
this point. So we're preparing for rebooting that. So I would say
I
like
love it. I love it.
polishing did a little bit job on kind of like explaining how this works, and I would say like we will reboot that next month. Like in
Yeah,
terms
it means you're trying to get all the profits first before you. No, I'm joking. Nick, what's the best way for people to connect with you, reach out to you? I'm assuming you're on either crypto Twitter or on LinkedIn. What's the best way to reach you?
Twitter, Telegram, LinkedIn, emails. I'm happy to answer anything on about the Brighty, outside the Brighty, on about the venture fund, raising capital. So anything. So
Awesome. We really appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's a hectic schedule being a CTO of any kind of crypto-based application, much less something that's doing FX and trading and all of that good stuff. So we appreciate you joining the podcast, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
yeah, nice. Thank you very much.